We're only 9 days into 2023, and I feel like we've already reached a point where scams have become more common than the cold. I just can't believe that there are still people that are falling for crypto scams in particular. It has to be the same people just doing it over and over again and not learning their lesson. Like that bit from every cartoon ever where someone steps on a rake and it hits them in the face, they turn around and step on another rake and it hits them in the face. That's people with crypto scams and losing money. Just going back and forth, ping-ponging around, getting spit roasted by every shady crypto company ever until they're completely out of money and then blame it on something else besides themselves to avoid taking any level of accountability and responsibility for their reckless actions. The reason I'm talking about this isn't because of what you think it is. Of course, Logan Paul and CryptoZoo is the biggest scam right now that's been exposed and has been being talked about by everyone, including me. But there have been a handful of other high-profile scams that have all come out, but they've all fallen into the cracks, into the shadows, because CryptoZoo's been kind of like this bullet sponge, taking all the heat for the others so that way they can die a quiet death without anyone discussing it or making a hoopla. But hoopla is my middle name. So I'm going to come in here and make a scene out of it. I'm going to shine a light on it because there's one in particular that I'd like to talk about today that I haven't really seen anyone go over. And this is once again an influencer-led crypto scam, but it goes bigger than just one project. This was multiple, and the creator came out and said that he gambled away all of the funds. He has a gambling addiction, and all of the investors' money went to him gambling it. They say honesty is the best policy, and in this case, I'm glad he came forward with that information. But man, you absolutely need to be held accountable for this shit. This was a high-profile, blatant scam where you mishandled every investor's money and everyone lost all of it. That's a crime. That's just like an actual financial crime. So we'll go over it from the top, but I gotta tell you, it really is incredible just how frequent these scams are now. It's worse than RuneScape right now. RuneScape has less scams than the real world at the moment. It's wild. Now, usually I like to think this goes without saying, but I'm going to make a special exception here and just say it anyway. Please don't go and harass this guy for all of this. He does need to be held accountable, but the right way by the right organizations, and the people that were actually affected, the victims, are the ones that should be coming forward to hold him accountable. Not just like a giant mob with pitchforks after him on Twitter or Twitch or whatever. I don't usually even bother giving this warning because I think there's a level of trust between us. You know, we're like family, only closer. Like, we're related by something far stronger than blood, content. So, please don't harass this person. Just wanted to make that clear. Their name is DNP3. Now, I'm not familiar with DNP3, and I wasn't until this whole situation. From everything I can see, this is a streamer slash content creator whose entire brand was giveaways. He has over 600,000 followers on Twitter, 250k on Twitch, and over 100k on YouTube, so these are pretty big numbers, but it seems like they're heavily inflated because all he seems to do is giveaways, which is basically a real-world cheat code where you just, hey, like, follow, retweet in order for a chance to win $100. Make sure to follow the stream and you might win $500, this and that. It's like a really fast growth strategy, but it doesn't have any real viewer retention or audience. People just treat you like a little money block in Mario where they can just keep jumping up and hitting coins out of it because you're frequently doing giveaways, but they're not really a fan of you. It's just people that are treating you like a giveaway fleshlight that they can fuck from time to time. So he used these giveaways to get these big numbers, which in turn conveys the idea that this person is more popular than they are and more trustworthy because bigger number, better person kind of mentality. So they use this to then platform these crypto coins, NFTs, these projects, and a lot of people bought into it, trusting that surely this guy's so well off he wouldn't be scamming us, which is a tale as old as time. People falling for that old idea. It's like my father always said, just because someone seems well off doesn't mean they won't suck a fart out of your butt. You can't be getting bewitched by this perceived popularity and think that they're automatically a trustworthy person. Now that I've kind of set the stage on who NDP3 is, let's see his statement on what he's done. It's a twit longer. It says, "I'm sorry. There's no easy way to deliver this news, and this is by far one of the toughest messages I've ever had to deliver in my life. Over the last year, I got incredibly addicted to gambling. Every dollar I could find, I would put in a stake in hopes of winning big. More people have lost money on stake than they have in the fucking stock market, it seems. Even when the big wins did happen, it wasn't enough. Eventually, I lost everything in addition to my own life savings. I also irresponsibly used investor funds to try and get my money back from the casino, which was wrong for so many reasons. To all my friends, family, and everyone who believed in me, I'm so deeply sorry. There aren't words to describe the level of shame and guilt I feel, and I can no longer live in this dark world, and this is my attempt to break free. I am now completely broke, both financially and spiritually. My sense of trust in myself is compromised. I'm working with a help group to start the path to recovery. I'll create a separate tweet which will have next steps for each of the projects I was involved in, including Clue, Xenia, Gridcraft, and Goobers. That sounds like a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe kind of book title right there. Gridcraft and Goobers. Like, good lord. They're two separate projects. I can get into that in a little bit, but one's an NFT and the other's just another crypto cash grab. I'm sorry that I betrayed your trust. I'm sorry that I did not live up to my values of integrity. I'm sorry that I let you all down. I'm sorry. The projects that he's listed here aren't small by any means. We're talking millions and millions of dollars that he gambled away. Now, I want to just go ahead and take a look at what I think is the biggest one, at least based on what I've seen, and that's KlueCoin. So I took a bit of a dive onto their website, and let's see what we got. And it is the most generic shitcoin imaginable. Just unapologetic and shameless. This is probably copy and pasted from 1,000 other shitcoins websites. Together we can change the world. Yeah, I'm sure by purchasing these imaginary schmoobles, it'll all of a sudden change the world. It's just once again a cash grab, and there's DNP3 right there as the founder and CEO. Now, if you want to look at the graph, it's tragic, and it's as you'd expect. An absolutely colossal failure. Everyone's money lost. And DNP3 gambled all of it, most of it, I suppose. To me, even if he didn't gamble these funds, you were going to lose them anyway. It's a goddamn shitcoin. The inevitable fate of putting money into a shitcoin is that all of it vanishes as if it never existed in the first place. So I feel like no matter what, if you put money into any of these projects, it was going to go poof right down the shitter at some point anyway. It just so happened that the person behind it is even shadier than I would have ever expected, and he's just openly taking the mask off and letting you all know that he took your money and gambled it, and he's saying it right to your face. We can also trace back where the addiction started, it seems. Go back to the genesis. Oh man, I used to watch all your streams and I really didn't notice your addiction. I thought it was just fun for you. Really sad to read these words. I hope you can find some clarity, dude. Stay in peace with yourself and your family. DNP3 responds saying, started with a sponsored stream and unleashed an addiction I never knew I had. That's very interesting. So it seems the patient zero to this disease happened to be a crypto casino itself that sponsored one of his streams and threw him deep into the rabbit hole of gambling addiction. It's crazy. These crypto casinos have claimed more souls than Shang Tsung. They really get their fangs in you, it seems. Because this is not the first story, far from it, from these new crypto casinos that are sprouting up everywhere. Gambling addiction is really popping off these days. It seems like as there's more access to this kind of shit, more people are getting hooked on it. Addiction in any of its forms is bad, but gambling addiction is a super serious and scary one. Now, having that kind of real addiction doesn't excuse anything DNP3 did here. Far from it. It's still very much his fault, his responsibility, but it is sad that he's been struggling with a gambling addiction. But it's even sadder for all the victims that he stole money from to gamble, the millions that he used to gamble. That's what's more sad than the addiction itself, is the people that were affected by it because of him. What really rubbed me the wrong way about his twit longer is he says all of these things and they're sad, and it seems like he's trying to farm a little sympathy, but at no point does he offer any kind of action to help people that have been affected by his reckless gambling. He doesn't have any plan to get their money back. He doesn't have any idea on what to do to help the victims be made whole again. And I think that's one of the most important components that he needs to address. Okay, so you fucked up, you've gambled all of their money away. Well, now what? How are you going to help all of the people that you've betrayed? So yeah, that's kind of where the story's at right now. This is a rather new development. It's only a few days old, so the story's still being written here. We'll see how everything keeps playing out. But yeah, just another awful scam situation. I'm hoping the investors get their money back somehow. I don't know how, but hoping that they get their funds returned in a giant refund or something. But anyway, just wanted to bring this up. That's about it. See ya.